I'm Fiona Kenyon, a Principal Scientist at the Modern Research Institute. I'm interested in sustainable control of nematodes in livestock and also how technology can be used to improve health and welfare monitoring. Parasites are ubiquitous and are on all grazing fields that animals will come across. And one of the main causes is lost production. So although we can see clinical signs such as scouring, there's usually a more hidden cost in lost production, so the animals don't grow as well, and that can affect the efficiency of your farming practice and the efficiency of how well your animals are growing. And to be able to target and mitigate against that can really help to improve animal performance overall. So there's lots of methods that we can use to mitigate against parasites. You can go to really good resources, are the Scops or Cows websites. They list all the kind of sources of mitigation that can be used. Some of the main ones, though, would be to think about what you're bringing back onto your own farm. So we know that there's different types of parasites, different species, and they have, the drugs work better or worse in different species. And so you want to be careful about what you bring back to your farm, and you can mitigate against that by carrying out effective quarantine when you either have a new stock or returning stock to your farm. You can also think about when you're treating your animals, when you're dosing them, to make sure that you use the correct product or a product that's going to work. You can use calibrated equipment to make sure you're given an accurate dose, and try and give the dose to the weight of the heaviest animal in the group. You can also check that the drugs have worked by collecting faecal samples post-treatment and getting them analysed. Another way that we can use to mitigate against parasite infection is by using targeted selective treatments, and essentially this is a dosing strategy whereby we treat individual animals within the group rather than treating all animals at the one time. And this works in a number of ways. Firstly, we know that not all animals in the group are equally affected by the parasites that they're exposed to, so some can continue to grow well whereas others start to grow poorly. So by identifying the ones that are growing poorly, we can just treat them without affecting the growth rates overall. And also, by just treating those individuals, it helps us to slow the development of wormer resistance. We know that we're not going to get any more new products on the market anytime soon, so we really need to think about how we can prolong the life of doing this. When we did this, we were comparing this targeted selective treatment approach using short-term weight gain against 3 other commonly used drug treatment strategies, and we found that by treating individual animals that failed to reach a minimum baseline target, we used about 50% less drenches compared to a monthly treated approach, but we didn't see any difference in weight gain. So therefore, by treating all the animals every month, we're actually wasting quite a lot of drench, which is not giving you a return in terms of increasing or maintaining animal production. So EID handling can be really helpful to help us to be able to actually use targeted selective treatments on farm in a practical sense. So when we were developing this approach, we were really keen that we could develop something that was going to give a pen-side, quick and easy decision for farmers to use. So we have weight handling here, and we have a race that the animals run up. They're all wearing electronic identification tags, which all animals in the UK have to wear anyway. The technology can read the EID tag and link that to a weight. And our calculations, we can upload target or minimum baseline weights into the weighhead, and then we can determine from that whether animals have reached that minimum target or not. If they haven't reached that target, then we say that they are not performing well and therefore would benefit from a wormer treatment. And so this makes the system simple, easy and quick to use. Up until this point, we've been doing the calculations in-house, and we've worked with a small number of farmers, but obviously that's not sustainable in the long term. So we've been lucky enough to get some funding from Innovate UK to work on a project called Smart Sheep, and the hope is that we have been working with a range of really excellent people to develop software and apps that will allow us to do those calculations on a web or cloud-based system, which will allow more farmers to have access to it. That project's underway now, and we're just going to validate it by testing it on 16 farms throughout the UK in the next few weeks.